Let's roll up our sleeves and get ready to add our ingredients. Welcome to the Blue Meal series. Today's star is spaghetti squash, and it is my most favorite squash of them all. It gets its name because when you cook it up, you can actually use the flesh and it looks like spaghetti. How great is that? It has a low glycemic index and it is so low carb you won't even realize you're not eating pasta. It is delicious. So today we're gonna show you how to cook this baby up. The first thing you want to do is grab yourself a really sturdy cutting board, a sharp knife, and a dish that is microwave safe, because we're not going to be baking the spaghetti squash today, although you can. It's just much easier to microwave it and it's faster. Okay, so what I did is I cut its little head off because you want to make sure that it's stable enough that you can cut through it. So that is what I'm doing now. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the inside. So what I'm going to do now is place it into a microwavable dish, flesh side down. And that's important so that it'll steam and cook in the microwave. For a spaghetti squash of this size, which is about 2 pounds, you want to microwave it for about 12 to 15 minutes. And then what will happen is that the flesh will be cooked. You can scoop out all of these seeds and its guts really easily, and then we can pull it apart and make our spaghetti squash. Okay, so our squash is in the microwave cooking up and getting ready for us. And while that's going, we're gonna get started on our sauce for the spaghetti squash. And the great thing about spaghetti squash is that you can literally top it with any kind of sauce that you want. I love pasta and it's not always the best choice to eat. So when you use spaghetti squash, you can make your favorite pasta sauce to go on top of it, and it's amazing. So what I have here is half an onion. I'm just gonna add that in. Okay, so I have my onion sauteing in some olive oil on a medium heat, and I'm just gonna let that cook a little bit. And while that's in the pan, I'm gonna add in about 2 cloves of garlic. You can add as much garlic or as little as you like, but I really like garlic, so I added a lot. Just gonna let that cook and get a little fragrant and wait until the onions are nice and translucent. Okay, so my onions have been cooking for about 3 minutes now, and they're nice and translucent, and it looks like they've pretty much cooked through. So what I'm gonna do now is add in my ground turkey. And I like using turkey because that's just what I prefer, but you could use beef, you can use ground chicken, whatever your preference is. I'm just gonna add that in and let it brown. Break it up in the pan. So I have my ground turkey in the pan here with my onions and my garlic, and I'm just going to continue cooking this until it has a nice brown color, and that'll take up to 5 to 7 minutes depending on how much turkey you have. And you want to make sure to keep breaking it up in the pan so that you have even pieces and that everything gets really brown and delicious. So our spaghetti squash just came out of the microwave and it's really hot. As you can see the steam coming off of it. So you want to make sure to let it cool until it's cool enough for you to handle and scoop out all the seeds and get all that spaghetti strand yumminess out of it. So while my spaghetti squash is cooling, I'm going to pull the sauce together so it can simmer for a few minutes and get really yummy. So what I have here is about 1.5 cups of organic spaghetti sauce. And you can use canned sauce, you can use jarred sauce, you can use whatever you have on hand. And for my spices, I have about a teaspoon each of oregano, red pepper flakes, and garlic powder. Actually, there's a little more extra garlic powder in there because I love garlic. So we're just gonna add that in too and let it simmer in. Okay, so my sauce has been simmering for about 10 minutes and my spaghetti squash has cooled down enough so that I can handle it. And what I've done here is I've already taken 1/2 of the squash, and as you can see, I took out all the guts and I just used a fork to pull apart the flesh. And when you pull that apart, this is what you get. It looks like spaghetti strands. So I'm just gonna leave this one whole, like a little boat here, to top with the sauce, and I'll show you how you can scoop the rest of this out. So you just want to take a spoon and scoop out all those seeds and guts. And then just take a fork and you're going to sort of rake it inside, and you'll see that the strands just pull away from the skin. Make sure you take all the seeds out because you don't want to be eating that. But here we go. Just pulling all the strands apart. And I'm going to put it in a bowl. Now you don't have to season the spaghetti squash because our sauces are already really flavorful. But if you wanted to, you can just season it with some salt and pepper, or you could saute it into the sauce, whatever you prefer. I'm just going to keep getting all of this out. Okay. So now I am just going to top it with that yummy sauce. Okay, so I took my bowl of spaghetti squash and I topped it with that yummy turkey meat sauce. And then I'm just gonna top my little boat here with some. And you could just serve it up right like this. And if you wanted to, you can sprinkle a little cheese on top or not, but this looks delicious. I don't know about you guys, but I am starving. That's so good. Thank you guys for watching another episode of the Blue Meal series presented by Diabetic Watchers. If you like this recipe and you tried it out at home, please leave a comment down below so we know what you're thinking. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and follow us on Twitter.